Wow. Wow, wow, wow. It took us so long to get this live stream going. I've been trying a bunch of new things with my stream tonight, and I tried this new software called Restream, which basically allows you to multi-stream like the video. I can multi-stream it on Periscope, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, a bunch of other stuff. And it has been so hard for me to get it working. It's like almost 4 a.m. here in Israel. So I basically just gave up and decided to just stick to YouTube right now and try the Periscope, when I get back to the States. But yeah, the people at Restream have been very helpful and been trying to work this through with me. And so hopefully we'll get that done. Excited. Very, very, very late. Very late. So the notification button is broken. Facebook should be broken up, so should Twitter and Instagram. Yes. Hopefully. All right. Yes, it works. It works. It works. It works. It works. I'm so glad. So glad to see you guys tonight. Chris Hughes is on the ball about Facebook having to be broken up. I agree. Facebook should be broken up. Facebook is just totally controlling everything, and they are acting as a publisher while at the same time claiming to be a public platform, public square. So that's not fair. And they've been going against everything that they have claimed to be doing. So, what is going to be the right step for Facebook? Well, Chris Hughes says Facebook should be broken up, and they should sell. They should what was what he called spin off? They should spin off WhatsApp and Messenger and Instagram, which they own. Basically, all these different platforms are owned by Facebook. So they should let go of WhatsApp, Messenger, and Instagram and just stick to Facebook. So, but his reasoning is just really weird. He wrote this article for the New York Times saying, Facebook should be broken up. It's time to break up Facebook. And in it, he basically says that, my view is Facebook should be broken up because Facebook is really, really trying to control the outcome of a lot of things. They're trying to control the outcome of, they're basically censoring a lot of people just because they don't agree or like the kind of views that are being exposed on the network. So they're trying too hard to censor people, and people are constantly being kicked off the platform. And, people who have spent years building up their audience are just being kicked off the platform. So my view is that's what the problem with Facebook is, right? They are controlling people's and they're controlling so many platforms, and they're controlling so many people's abilities to be open and expressive on their platforms. That's my problem with Facebook. Chris Hughes, the original co-founder of Facebook, his problem with Facebook is that they're not censoring enough. Papa Kinisu says, personally, I use Facebook to keep up with family only. That's about it these days. If they weren't on it, I would have already peaced out. Same with me, by the way, Papa. I really don't use Facebook for anything now other than connecting with family and old friends and using Messenger. And really just I never check my Facebook feed, Facebook updates, nothing. just happens to be there. I use Messenger to just connect with people, old friends from the past, people who just have Facebook and not Twitter. Because most of the time I spend time on Twitter, sometimes Instagram, but mostly Twitter. So yeah, Facebook is old. Facebook is getting old, and they just control too much. I don't want to spend so much time on a platform that I might just disappear from, So that's it. And just they control so much of the algorithm. Like it's like I'm gonna work so hard for something that might not work out for me because I'm not spending so much money on advertisements and stuff. So whatever. Facebook is for old people. Thanks, Dax. Facebook has access to me. So my problem with Facebook, um, you know, Chris Hughes does mention the privacy concerns. That's a good reason. Okay, everything except for that reason. Chris Hughes, that's a good reason, but all his other reasons are dumb. Chris Hughes' main problem with Facebook is not that Facebook is controlling too much of people's views and censoring too much. Chris Hughes' problem with Facebook is that Facebook is not censoring enough and they're not controlling enough. He says that because Facebook wants more views and they want more money, they're allowing people who are bad people with nationalist views to be on the platform without kicking them off. Because Facebook cares so much about money, they're letting people express themselves freely and they're letting the very influential people who have nationalist views stay on their platform. And those people apparently happen to be driving the money. So Facebook is doing something wrong by letting them have a platform. That's what he says. And this is a clip from this is an excerpt from his letter to the New York Times. He says, Mark is a good, kind person, but I'm angry that his focus on growth led him to sacrifice security and civility for clicks. I'm disappointed in myself and the early Facebook team for not thinking more about how the newsfeed algorithm could change our culture, influence our elections, and empower nationalist leaders. And I'm worried Mark has surrounded himself with a team that reinforces his beliefs instead of challenging them. So he's basically blaming Facebook for the 2016 election, Donald Trump's election. If Facebook had censored conservatives enough, Chris Hughes' argument is Donald Trump may have not been elected. If all this censoring started happening before the 2016 election, maybe Trump would have not been elected. If voters were suppressed enough on social media, perhaps Trump would not have been elected. First of all, I disagree with that. Conservative pro-Trump thoughts have already been suppressed enough in mainstream media. They've been suppressed in academic institutions, colleges. They've been suppressed in the workforce by major corporations. They've been suppressed on cable television. Conservative voices have already been suppressed everywhere. And the only place they weren't suppressed is social media. Maybe they weren't suppressed enough on social media. That's why the pro-Trump movement spent a lot of time on the internet. They still got Trump elected, despite not having a voice in these other places, right? Despite having a voice in all these mainstream places, they still got Trump elected because that was the majority consensus. People were having these views, they felt suppressed, they went to the internet. Now the internet's kicking them off. Is that really going to stop them from having their views? No, I think that's only going to strengthen their views. So These people are thinking that maybe if we censored them more, if we started moving to social media platforms and internet and tried to censor pro Trump voices through the internet, then maybe then we will be able to control the outcome of the elections. How naive. How stupid. These people have learned nothing from their past mistakes. Not that I have a problem with it, but these people are learning nothing. Their their mistake, the reason why there are so many pro-Trump supporters right now, the reason why Trump has all the populists is because the Trump side happens to be less controlling and less in power when it comes to matters of censoring and showing bias against conservatives. Whether or not you're a conservative, if you're on the side of freedom and free speech and not losing your life over your views, you're more likely to side with Trump supporters, which is what's happening now a lot. A lot of my friends who are on the right are not traditionally conservative at all in any way. They're only on the right because they feel like there's just this blatant control by people who don't care about who are trying to control their views and constant censorship. So is censoring people more and just trying to reach more ways of censoring, is that going to stop the pro-Trump crowd from re-electing him? I don't think so. I think it's only going to strengthen them. Okay? I think it's only going to reinforce whatever it is, whatever belief it is that is on the pro-Trump side. So good luck with that, Chris Hughes. Good luck with that Facebook, who's apparently thinking they're also, thinking that they're going to try this increasing censorship. Uh, so he's saying that social media should be regulated too. Okay, we're saying social media should be regulated. He's saying social media should be regulated. But he's saying social media should not be regulated in order to stop all this censorship. He's saying social media should be regulated in order to promote more censorship, increase censorship, stop hateful rhetoric. Another reason why I think Chris Hughes is coming out with this whole thing, this whole article, I think Chris Hughes, I'm sensing a little bit of rivalry with Mark Zuckerberg since they were co-founders. They went to college together, and Zuckerberg has made it way bigger than him. Chris Hughes has made it fine. He's made it big. He's very rich. But Mark Zuckerberg has made it bigger. And they co-founded something together. Mark Zuckerberg is doing very well. So his old colleague is coming here and, bashing him and trying to have like a voice and feed off of his fame. Which, I have no love for Mark Zuckerberg, but I just sense a lot of jealousy and rivalry with this. Here's another excerpt from his article, from Chris Hughes' article. Mark is still the same person I watched hug his parents as they left our dorm's common room at the beginning of our sophomore year. He's the same person who procrastinated studying for tests, fell in love with his future wife while in the line for the bathroom at a party, and slept on the mattress on the floor in his small apartment years after he could have afforded much more. In other words, he's human, but it's his very humanity that makes his unchecked power so problematic. You know what I hear when reading this? I hear a guy who's essentially saying Zuckerberg isn't special. He was in my dorm. He was in the same college as me. We had the same experiences. We're the same. Why is Zuckerberg so powerful? Why does he get to have all this unchecked power when he's really the same as me? I could have done that, right? So I see jealousy and rivalry, okay? I don't like this Chris Hughes guy, and I don't trust him, and I don't trust his agenda. He is saying that the wrong thing about Facebook is that Facebook is not censoring nationalists enough. So Joe Anderson says, coulda, shoulda, woulda, but didn't. Exactly, Chris Hughes. You coulda, shoulda, woulda been as successful as Mark Zuckerberg, but you weren't. Okay? I see this so often, by the way. I see this so much with me. Like, also, like, I see this a lot. People get so competitive with other people that they really have no reason to be competitive with. Shoot, I just called somebody by accident. They've been listening to my live stream the whole time. Good. Good, good, good. More people hearing my live stream. I see this all the time with people who get super competitive, like, and they don't need to be. Like, they'll get competitive with other people on Twitter. Like, oh, so and so has more likes, so and so has more followers. I could have had more followers. I could have done way better than that person. I could have, I'm way smarter than that person. Why is that person? We're the same. Oh, I went to high school with that person. They're not special. I see that said about me, by the way, like on Twitter. Like, why does she have like 60,000 followers? I went to high school with her. And I've seen that with high school people. Not so much, like 2 people who weren't even in my class and didn't even know me. But yeah, and the funny thing is, like, they have nothing to be threatened by. They have nothing to compete against. I'm just a person who tweets a lot. Okay, if they did the same exact thing as me, they would have had that too. Nothing different, nothing to compete against. If you did the same thing I did, if you were in the same position as me, you would have done that too. You would be here too. There is no reason to be competitive. Okay? People get so competitive for no reason, and they don't realize that, you know, another thing is, like, people will, like, purposely try to, like, you know, put down other people in order, because they think that, like, they think that maybe, like, just muting or banning other people that they don't like, that they don't want to compete with, is going to make it that those people won't have power. You know what? Not trying to squash other people's content and trying to either ignore or silence other people's content is not going to make it that other people won't want to see their content. It's just going to make it that you become blind and oblivious and not benefiting from their content. Why not take advantage and maybe include their content in what you have? If you are, let's say, tweeting stuff, why not include everybody's tweets in your tweets so that you have a diversified showcase of tweets, right? People will come to you for all the information because you have everybody's top information, right? People come to you instead of going to those people who are just having their own personal opinions. I see this, by the way, people who do this really well, Mike Cernovich and Jack Posobiec, 2 people on Twitter, by the way, who, like, they'll just share everything. They won't stay away from any news. They'll share everybody on the right and the left, people who hate them, people who disagree with them. They'll just share everybody because in their view, there is no competition. The only competition is themselves. By sharing everybody else's content, in their mind, they're not only making it so that people come to them for all the content because they're just having everything, they're also making it that other people will start to, give back to them and start sharing their work. I mean, that's what happened with me. Mike Cernovich and I had, like, total beef on Twitter for a while. It's total, like, angry. But he started sharing my stuff a lot. And I mean, it wasn't like it wasn't personal. It was rivalry because I was at Daily Wire and he had different views. But he started eventually like sharing my stuff a lot, and I was like, "Hey, I thought this guy hated me. Why is he sharing all my stuff?" Well, it turns out that eventually I started sharing his stuff because I wanted to like return the favor. And so basically, the only way to squash competition is to take advantage of it. Make your competitors work for you. Make your competitors good for you. So anyway, that's a whole tangent I went on about competition. But anyway, the left could use some of this too. Instead of trying to compete with the right, why is the right so successful right now? Because the right is so open to all different ideas. People on the right will share and promote all kinds of ideas. You'll see people on the right retweet both people on the right and the left. Okay? They'll retweet both journalists on the right and the left. Will you see that on the left? No, you won't. They will only stick to they will only stick to their own views. They'll only stick to their journalists who have their views. They will never touch any person on the right, any influencer or journalist or account on the right that has like MAGA in their name or whatever. They'll stay away from that. They don't want to have anything to do with it. But what happens in the end? What happens in the end is people gravitate towards the right-wing influencers, the people, meaning the just, ordinary people will gravitate towards following the right wing people because those people are just sharing more content. They have everything. So you follow whoever is gonna give you more. Anyway, KMDN says Pardes defends good boy Mark Zuckerberg from evil leftists. LOL. I'm confused, but I have no love for Mark Zuckerberg. I'm just saying that his former co-founder who wants to break up Facebook is doing it for the wrong reasons, in my opinion. So, all right. Why did they take down that AOC parody account? Asks Stephen Pickering. Why did they take down that AOC parody account? They took down a bunch of parody accounts on the right because, they claimed the excuse. Either they claimed that it was by accident or they claimed that it was, you can't have a parody account. You can't have an account that claims to be something but isn't. Except all these parody accounts were named parody. They had parody in the name. So it was, and they even said like Vijaya God, Jack Dorsey's lawyer, Twitter lawyer, she said on Joe Rogan's podcast that the reason why Milo Yiannopoulos lost his verification on Twitter was because he like he basically changed his profile name to like BuzzFeed editor to make fun of Ben Smith, who's the editor of BuzzFeed. And he did it without claiming upfront that this is a parody. So he did it without like a disclaimer that said this is a parody. And they said, well, if he wrote next to it that this is a parody, then they wouldn't have had a problem with that. And he wouldn't have lost his verification. So now they're basically just totally ignoring what they said and just deleting all these parodies saying that like, oh, they're pretending to be someone they're not, and you can't do that on Twitter. You can't be a parody on Twitter. Except just Google, just search on Twitter. There are a ton of parodies. There are a ton of Twitter parodies out there. A ton that are making fun of all sorts of politicians. Mostly, I mean, all sorts of politicians. Why is it just these ones that are being banned? Uh, it doesn't make sense to me. From where I'm standing, just heavy bias. And it just seems like a real attempt to try and control the 2020 election. And they're saying it publicly. They're saying it's not like this is a conspiracy theory that I'm making up. This is a huge conversation on the left. Left-wing politicians, they're all talking about it. Elizabeth Warren is talking about it. This guy is talking about it. All these different politicians. I think it was Richard Blumenthal was talking about it. They're all saying that we have to start clamping down on social media and start kicking out nationalist accounts. In other words, pro-Trump accounts. And that's what they're doing. Not a conspiracy theory. They said that they were going to do it, and they're doing it. Facebook said that they were going to not only delete accounts that are, in their view, nationalist accounts, but they're also going to delete anyone who shares, engages, and promotes those accounts. So, I mean, no one on the left is sharing or engaging with those accounts. People on the left totally stay away. Yeah, just a bunch of tyrants, a bunch of pro-censorship tyrants. And that's what Chris Hughes is as well. Just because he's against Facebook, that doesn't make him on my side. And anyway, why is nationalism such a dirty word? Nationalism means support for your country. Why is that such a dirty word? I don't get it, I don't think of myself as a bad, evil person. Why do I have to be vilified so much? Like, first of all, even if nationalism was a dirty word, I shouldn't be censored. If everyone in this country was like pro-nationalism, why do I need to be censored? I don't deserve to have my freedoms taken away. Just my view, just my opinion. I don't deserve to have my freedom taken away if I was a bad person, okay? Say I was a bad person. But why should I even be called a bad person? The next question, why am I a bad person? Why do I deserve to be vilified? Nationalism is pride in your country. I'm in Israel right now, by the way, if you haven't noticed. It's my last stream in Jerusalem because tomorrow night I won't be doing a stream. Friday I will be off. I'll send a tweet just warning you guys I won't be doing a live stream tomorrow, Friday. So tonight is my last live stream from Jerusalem. And sorry, I'm reading your comments. Jim Kirk says Nazi Germany was nationalist. Well, Nazi Germany was murdering their own citizens. I don't see that as a nationalist thing. Hitler was Austrian. He was from Austria, and he left an Austrian prison to go and they were conquestual, if that's a word. I don't know if that's a word, but their focus was conquest. They weren't nationalists that were focusing on Germany. They were trying to expand and take over other countries. They were imperialists. They were fighting and trying to take over as many countries as possible under their regime, the Weimar Republic. Okay, so I don't see that as nationalism. I see that as an imperialist way of a conquest. They were murdering their own citizens. They weren't focused on Germany, on making Germany better and making German life better. They weren't focused on that. They were focused on trying to expand, and they were focused on a race thing. They were focused on the race of people and trying to control a racial demographic. That's what their focus was. It was a racial nationalism. It was like a racial supremacism. It wasn't nationalism of Germany. It didn't have anything to do with that. They weren't making Germany better. People are saying, oh, and Jim Kirk is saying that Hitler was half Jewish. I don't know. I don't believe that. Maybe he was. But I don't get it. I don't get why people think that nationalism is the same as racial supremacism and killing your own citizens. Killing your own citizens is not nationalism. Killing your own citizens is it's it's the opposite of nationalism. They were imperialists. The nationalist Americans are the opposite. Nationalist Americans don't want imperialism. They don't want us interfering in all these other countries. They want us focusing here in the United States. They don't want us killing Americans. They don't want us going out and interfering in all these other countries and killing people in other countries. They want us to stay here and focus on Americans, not other people, not random, I don't know, person in Mexico, not on illegal immigrants that are not American. They want us focusing on American people who are committed to the United States leadership, to citizenry in the United States, who are invested in the well-being of a country and the people. That's what nationalists in America are. Nationalists are nothing like Nazi Germany. And anyone who claims that they're the same doesn't know what nationalism is. So Papa says, what are my thoughts on Tulsi Gabbard? I don't really know so much about Tulsi Gabbard, but she just seems like, I don't know, she seems a little bit fake. I like her Hawaiianness. It seems cool, but I'm not like one of these anti-war, like my really close friend Cassandra Fairbanks, she's really for no war. I support no war too, but that's not like I'm not like a no war purist. I don't believe in absolutely no war. That's not what I believe in. I think war might be necessary in many cases. So nationalism is just a deep commitment to your country and the people in your country and wanting the well-being of a country that you live in and that you're a citizen of. That's what you need in order to have a healthy economy, a healthy country, a cohesive unit within your country. I'm in Israel right now. Israel knows what they're doing. Why is Israel so successful? Everybody knows it. Everybody knows that Israel has one of the most powerful militaries in the world. Very, very successful economy, very successful tech industry, very united people. Why is Israel still surviving when all these people are trying to kill them? A ton of people hate Israel. Why are they still surviving? Why is, Why are they good? Why does the Israel side of things, Israeli land, look so built and good, well irrigated and healthy and just growing, while on the other side of the border, on Syria, in Jordan, in the south, on the Gaza side, in Lebanon, all these places just look like shitholes. And I posted a photo of it one time. It's like, I took a photo. We were in the north, in the Golan Heights. We were standing on a mountain that was overlooking the border between Israel and Syria. And if you look at the border, the Israel side is like so beautiful, well irrigated. They've got crops everywhere. Every part of it is used for like another, like, expansion of growing resources and stuff like that, growing crops, whatever. On the other side of the border is just wasteland. Total, it looks like a shithole. Brown, like it looks like nothing on the Syria side. Why is Israel why is Israel so successful? And even people who hate Israel will say that Israel is very successful. Whatever reason you give for Israel being successful, at the end of the day, it all comes down to a deep interest in every Israeli citizen for the well-being of the country. Every Israeli citizen, mostly Jewish, but also whatever other religions are part of it. Like there are Arab Israelis, there are Christian Israelis, there are Buddhist Israelis, there are all kinds of Israelis. The one thing they all have in common is that they are all deeply invested in the well-being of the state and deeply invested in the protection of Israeli citizens. That's one thing that they all have in common. And for people who refuse to assimilate or whatever, it's not like that in Israel. I mean, for the most part, Israeli immigration is very tough. And all these social justice people are like, well, Israelis are racist and Israelis are bigots. You know what? Israelis have the right idea for the most part. Now, they've got all these leftist activists who have infiltrated. But for the most part, Israel's a very nationalist state. The culture is a very nationalist culture. And by nationalism, I mean a deep interest in protecting the state and the people of Israel. The people of Israel, not the people of other countries, the people of Israel. And for that reason, they are successful. And how do you bring about a nationalist state? They are very careful about the vetting process of people who want to become citizens. They are very careful on who they vet to come in and out of the United States. That's why they're successful. Why are Jews successful? I mean, that's a separate thing. Why are Jews successful? Jews also have that element of nationalism. If you want to enter this nation, you have to show that you're loyal to this nation. You have to go jump through a bunch of hoops and show that you are committed to this nation. And once you're in it, you're part of it. You're not going anywhere. You are forever part of it. You're forever part of our nation. And we are going to be just as loyal to you as you are to us. That's what nationalism is. So that's what that's what Israel has right. And that's what, if you want to be a healthy society, I think any society that desires to be healthy and successful should do. That's an example that would be well off following. And Anyone who says that's bigoted or hateful or segregating, you know what? A nationalist country, all that a nationalist country does is preserve the well-being of its people. Okay, and like murdering your own people is not nationalism. Israeli citizens have a deep interest in protecting the well-being of Israeli citizens. That's what nationalism means. So that's what I love about Israel. You go out in the streets, it's so safe. Your neighbors, they all have a deep interest in keeping you safe. My sister moved into the neighborhood. Her neighbors, like, they don't know her. They have no idea who this person is. They show up at her door with baked cookies and welcome, constantly babysitting each other's kids. You can leave your kid with another Israeli and they will take care of your kid because you can trust them, because they'll be loyal to you. You can leave your stuff out in the streets and no one's going to steal it because they trust each other. They're loyal to you. There is a shared history, shared language, common enemies, shared interest in protecting each other. Everybody has to join the military. And not only does everyone has to join the military and everyone pays high taxes, they want to because they want the well-being of their state. They do it with love. They want their kids to join the military and preserve the nation, protect the nation. It's not like, they're being forced to do it and they have to, and they're like, oh, don't send our boys overseas. Keep our boys here. I don't want my son to join the army. It's not like that. They want, and not only do they want it, not only do they want their kids to be part of it and they're proud of it, they're proud of their kids joining the military and protecting their country. There is a deep appreciation for it in the streets. People in the military, anywhere they go, they receive a lot of respect from ordinary people. You have to move away when people in the military come by. You move away for them. You show them respect. You tell them, thank you for your service. It happens all the time here in Israel. There is a deep appreciation for the military because there is this common knowledge that the military is going to protect the interest of Israeli citizens. That's what nationalism is. So Alex Farah says, I've met some Israeli kids that didn't want to serve. Sure, yeah. I met Israeli kids that I also met Israeli kids that didn't want to serve. Actually, the whole Haredi population does not want to serve. Sure, there are a lot of Israelis that don't want to serve. But at the end of the day, when it comes to a common enemy, they will band together. There is no other. When it comes to looking outwards at a common enemy, they're together. There is no like, oh, but maybe we should be on the enemy side. Maybe we should no, they're together. At the end of the day, they trust each other. There is no worry that one will turn on the other. So, left-wing students, a lot of these left-wing students are coming from outside of Israel. They're coming to study in Israel. Will I ever make Aliyah, move to Israel? I don't know. I'm just very comfortable in the United States. I like my luxuries. I like my friends. Yeah. My siblings live in a very religious area too, so I don't know. I love my siblings. I love hanging out here. I can't be around religious people for too long. I like my freedom. Technically I can live in a part of Israel. It's not but anyway. That's what I love about Israel. Little kids can come home after school by themselves. Little girls can come home from school by themselves without a chaperone. They can babysit themselves. They're efficient. They're quick. They're very mature for their ages because they all join the military. They all have to be like self-sufficient, quick, because it's just very quick, efficient culture, because you never know when an enemy might attack. So anyway, yeah, it's funny. I've been seeing that Ilhan Omar complaining a lot about recently about Jews in the United States being being nationalistic, and it's not for the United States but for Israel. I think it's important for Americans to show nationalism for the United States. If you are nationalist for another country, then if you're loyal to another country, I'm not going to say don't be an American, but just don't try to influence American politics. Don't try, let the nationalists take care of their country. If you're going to be loyal to another country, be loyal to another country, but don't try to sabotage the country that you're living in. That's all I'm saying. If you're a citizen of a country, you don't sabotage the interests of that country. Ilhan Omar saying that is rich. Ilhan Omar saying that is so hypocritical. So she's like the worst example of someone who has zero loyalty to her country. Zero. Everything about her ideology, her beliefs, everything about it, her political views, everything is anti the United States. Everything. She doesn't even know basic US law. Today she shared something about how it's like against US law that what did Trump do? He like tweeted something. It was against US law. Which it wasn't. She just doesn't understand. She doesn't know US law. She doesn't know any, she said she said it was required by US law for Trump to show his tax returns. It's not required by US law. She doesn't know US law. Why is she a congresswoman? Why is she representing Americans when she has no interest or knowledge or care for Americans? She, it hasn't been long since she became an American herself. I don't know, I don't even feel like I would be ever qualified to represent Americans. Why should she represent Americans? Like, why should someone who does not, who does not even, I just don't understand it. I just don't understand why people applaud someone who doesn't have an vested interest in American citizens. Why do people applaud that kind of person running, being someone who makes decisions for Americans? Why would you want that? I just don't understand it. I don't understand it at all. So for her to complain about Jews having dual loyalty, or Israel supporters having dual loyalty, rich. And by the way, it is a Jewish law that you have to, it is a Jewish law that you have to take on all the laws of a country that you become a citizen of, and claim and assume assume loyalty to the country that you're a citizen of. If you're going to be a citizen of a country and you are not 100% loyal to them, don't become an elected official. Don't join the government. Don't make decisions for the people of that country. You have to preserve the interest of a country that you're a citizen of. And if you can't do that, if it conflicts with the interest of a different country that you care about, move out. Don't be part of that country. That's a Jewish law. So anyone who does not care about that is not following Jewish law. You have to it doesn't matter if you hate a leader, you are against them, you have to make a blessing in honor of a leader anytime you see them to show that you're loyal to them as a subject. If you can't do that, leave. Why should a leader have to protect people who don't have an interest in being part of his or her leadership? Anyway, that's it. So tonight is my last live stream from Jerusalem. I had a great time here. It's just way too short. I've been here for just way too short. I've really enjoyed it here. I've enjoyed being with my siblings. My niece is adorable. My brother-in-law is going to be home soon, so I'll get to see him for a tiny bit. And I feel very blessed. I'm definitely going to come back. And yeah. And I definitely have, the best interests for Israel. I think it's just a great place. It's a very great, healthy culture. And I think that they're going to continue being successful. They're going to continue effectively protecting their own citizens. They care about that, and so I'm happy for my siblings for being here, for being part of a leadership that wants to protect them, that cares very deeply about protecting them. Anyway, so and also it's just fun. It's great. It's just a lot of history, a lot of ancient history that is preserved, and it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool place. It's all kinds of. It's just a very vibrant history here in Jerusalem, which is really cool. And anyway, so next week I'll be in London covering the trial of Tommy Robinson. So my live streams will be from London, and then I'll be back in the United States after that. And I won't be having a live stream tomorrow, unfortunately. Fortunately, I will be with my siblings attending a dinner. So I'm excited about that. A Shabbat dinner. And yeah. And I'll also, hopefully, when my Wi-Fi is a little better, Wi-Fi here doesn't really connect so well to these American softwares because I'm here in Israel. When I get back to the States and my Wi-Fi is a little better, we'll be able to stream through multiple platforms. You'll be able to see me on Periscope, so you don't have to come to YouTube every single time. You can also see me on Periscope. You can see me on Twitch. You can technically see me on Facebook, but I don't really care about Facebook. So, and I'll do that. I'll be able to use a better software that will, streaming software that will, an encoder that will let me do cool shit with my streams. I'll have and hopefully soon we'll reach 1,000 subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed, definitely subscribe. Please like this video. Please subscribe. Check out my links. Thank you so much, Joe Anderson. Joe Anderson says support Pardes on Patreon. If you can support me on Patreon, I would really appreciate it. That would be really cool. I definitely want to invest more in not only these streams, these streams I'm doing anyway every day, but also in making videos that are edited and that I can invest in. So if you join me on Patreon, PayPal, I would really appreciate it a lot. But just the fact that you're here and you're watching is enough for me. It's great. And yeah, and check out my other social media accounts, Instagram, Twitter, if you're not already on it, and Twitch, which I literally just joined, so I'm still getting to know it. And see you all on Monday. And have a great weekend. All right. Happy Mother's Day. Take care.